Good evening, everyone.
Hey there.
How's it going this evening?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you, Commissioner Rojas?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me? Oh, yeah, you can. Okay. I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing all right, thanks. How's your knee, Rosalinda?
Recording in progress.
Um, I, I'm hoping, I'm feeling that it's better.
Oh, good.
I've been reading more on the whole hot cold therapy. So let's hope that works. But I guess
Yay.
it's like 4 weeks, like for me to start feeling like normal-ish again.
Wow.
So, yeah, I know it's gonna be wild. I'm a week into this. That works.
75% left, you know?
Lot of work to do over the next month on this.
Oh, goodness.
Thanks for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. Meeting started. Mine says waiting for the webinar to begin.
Hi, Chair Chiara. It's Tina. Couple of
Hi,
things.
Tina.
Hey, couple of things on the agenda. We want to approve the August minutes, and it says June minutes. Just if you want to note that.
I think Jennifer Lane has the incorrect link, so I'm going to send that to her right now for the presentation.
Is her link different than this one?
I'm wondering if maybe she clicked on the one that's for public comment.
Did she register? She's waiting. Oh, she's on.
She's set up as an attendee right now. So when it's time for her presentation, we can unmute her and let her go ahead and present.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So we are ready when you are.
Chair Chiara, we are ready when you are.
Okay, I'm ready. I just was responding to her what the comment was. Thank you. Okay, we can call the meeting to order at 6:06. And where is it now? Sorry, my agenda disappeared. Are we, sorry. Is it, oh, tell me what's next. I don't know where my agenda went.
The Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, thank you. Rosalinda, do you want to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I'm not standing, so I don't know if that's okay. Is that okay? Yes.
I think so. You're hurt.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rosalinda. Was the agenda posted?
Roll call vote first.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Here.
Commissioner Murray. Commissioner Ross. Vice Chair Rojas.
Here.
And Chair Chiaro.
Here.
Just to inform the commission, Commissioner Murray or Commissioner Ross By the time I left the office at 4 o'clock, did not inform me that they would not be in attendance today.
That was Commissioner Murray and Commissioner
Ro-
Ross.
Ross?
Okay. Okay, and can you confirm the posting of the agenda?
Yes. The agenda was posted at the Hollister Community Center and City Hall on Friday, September 10th, per Government Code Section 54954.2.
Thank you, Tina. Okay, so, and first will be, the approval of the August minutes. May I get a motion to approve the August minutes?
I can provide that motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
I approve.
Thank you,
Aye.
Commissioner Rojas.
Yes.
The vote carries. Do you say that, Tina, or do I say that?
I just have to do a roll call vote.
Okay. Thank you, Tina.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Here.
Approval of the minutes.
Oh, yes, I approve. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Murray is not here. Commissioner Ross is not here. Vice Chair Rojas
Yes.
and Chair Chiaro.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0 with 2 absent.
Thank you, Tina. Now we are going to go on to public comment. Do we have any public comment?
The one person we have is Jennifer, and Jennifer did ask if we can move her item up before we discuss old business. But it wouldn't go under public comment because she's on the agenda. So we have no public comment.
Okay. So.
She did raise her hand in
Oh,
case you want
she
to take her comment.
I'm sorry, excuse me,
Jennifer did raise her hand if you want to take her comment.
but are we not going to have that under public comment, Tina?
I don't know if
We-
it's a comment or if she raised her hand. It's hard to tell on Zoom what.
Jennifer, do you have a comment?
Hi there, Jennifer Lane here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Jennifer, we wanted to know if you had a public comment. Right now, we're on
I-
public
I
comment.
do.
Okay.
I do have a public comment. Just as the, maybe one of the only members of the public, I just wanted to make a quick comment here for agenda postings and transparency. I just wanted to comment that the agenda currently is dated as Tuesday, August 10th, not today, September 14th. And on the agenda, it says approval of June minutes as opposed to the August minutes. And I just wanted to make a comment too, as a member of the public, that I had a really hard time looking for the agenda. And since the meetings are still at least partially taking place virtually, it'd be really helpful to have them easily accessible on the City of Hollister website. So even as someone who's quite comfortable looking up information online, I couldn't find it anywhere on the website. Unfortunately, I work every day with Amanda, so I was able to ask her. But I think just for the sake of the public, accessing this information would be really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. And I believe we don't have any more public comment. That was one, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So we'd like to move on to old business, and then I don't know if there's a formal way I need to move the agenda item up for Jennifer's presentation about park.
Chair Kiata, you'd need to make a motion. It's a consensus. Oh,
Okay, so
So-
I make the motion and then
Yes.
ask for a roll call vote to move the agenda item.
yes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to move Jennifer Lane's presentation on park to old business 1.
I can second that motion.
Is Sanchez is a second? Roll call vote. Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rojas,
Yes.
and Chair Kiato.
Yes.
The record will show that Commissioner Murray and Commissioner Ross were not in attendance.
Okay, thank you. We'd like to invite Jennifer Lane to discuss park as old business item 1.
Okay, hi there. There we go. You can't see me, can you? You can just hear me?
Correct.
Okay, great. Well, my name is Jennifer Lane. I'm Executive Director of the San Benito County Arts Council and one of the founding members of the Public Art Review Committee, the City of Hollister Public Art Review Committee. And I'm really pleased and honored to be invited to give this presentation to you today, which I hope you'll find informative as you think about the vision for the new Arts and Culture Commission and are considering your bylaws. So thank you for the opportunity today. And congratulations again to all of you for being the first appointed members to the commission. I can say on behalf of the San Benito County Arts Council, we're really excited about this new advisory body. Next slide, please. So I'm going to provide you a brief overview of the Public Art Review Committee, but before I do, just because there might be some new members to Hollister or to the commission, I represent the San Benito County Arts Council and just want to provide a bit of background on the Arts Council. We're an independent nonprofit, a 501c3, and we were established in 2006. So we've been around a little over 15 years. We serve as the official state local partner to the California Arts Council, meaning we partner with the state to provide direct programs and services for San Benito County throughout the entire county. That being said, we're not an agency within the county of San Benito, nor are we an agency within the city of Hollister. So we're an independent nonprofit. We have 2 spaces on 5th Street, just down the street from City Hall, one of which we're losing at the end of the month, but we're hopeful of finding a new space. And we have a fabulous staff. Amanda Chiato, of course, is our Director of Arts Education. And we have a number of teaching artists and other arts administrators that we work with. We do a number of direct arts programs, such as our Arts and Education program, open studios, exhibitions. The image on the right here is a recent poster from our Art in Transit project, where we're working with community partners on 2 community outreach campaigns, one on vaccine education and outreach, and the others on water awareness. So we can go to the next slide and I'll tell you about our role with the Public Art Committee. So the Public Art Committee was established in 2016 by resolution that you can find the number there on the bottom. And I'm happy to provide you with a copy of the resolution, and you should also be able to find it in the city's archives there. But the Public Art Review Committee was established in 2016, and the Arts Council, essentially the resolution established the Arts Council as its administrative partner. So at the time, public art projects were coming up, and there was really no clear process of how the city would approve public art projects or disapprove of them. Individuals were going directly to city council and saying, I would really like to put this mural up on this spot or install this statue on this other spot. And there was no clear process. So a group of us got together, a number of artists, including Councilmember Resendez and Mary Paxton, who was with the city at the time, and we drafted a resolution to create a process for reviewing and promoting public art within the city. So our general charge is to promote art in public places that reflects the city's diverse social and cultural perspectives. At the time of its establishment, and it's still true today, we are a 7-member committee. In our bylaws, it states that there are 3 members appointed by the city, two directly from the city, and then the other is automatically the city's youth commissioner. At the time, most recently, it's been Kate Wilbur, who's been fantastic, but she just had her last meeting this month. And then 3 members are appointed from the Arts Council, from our board, and then 1 from the Hollister Downtown Association. So over the last 6 years, we've been meeting the 4th Friday of the month at City Hall at 8 a.m., quite early. And we did take about an 8-month hiatus during COVID. There wasn't a lot to review or pursue at that time. Everything was kind of course, on lockdown. So we weren't meeting virtually, but we started meeting again, I would say last spring. So we've been having meetings virtually up until this month, in fact, or last month, I should say, in August. Okay, next slide. So what do we do? It's pretty practical. So we review public art projects that meet one of two specific criteria. It has to be a public art project that's installed on city-owned property, such as like a city-owned plaza or park, and/or are commissioned using city funds. So if there's a mural that's going to be painted on a private building using private funds, that does not go through the Public Art Review Committee. And I'll give you some examples in a little bit of some projects that have gone through the committee. We create and administer requests for proposals for city projects or requests for qualifications, RFQs for public art projects. We make recommendations to City Council on current and future public art projects, policies, and plans. We keep an inventory of existing public artworks and maintain records of our agendas and minutes. And we assist with community outreach and education. We do not govern or make recommendations on artwork that's privately commissioned or funded or installed on private property. So that was very explicit when Park was created. And we do not fundraise for the city. So we're not a fundraising arm, although we've collaborated as a committee, and the Arts Council has collaborated quite a bit with the city on grants. Park itself is not charged with fundraising for public art funds. Next slide, please. So here's some criteria that we look at for requests for proposals. We have a checklist that we work with. We look at artists' qualifications, budget, site, community engagement, maintenance plan, feasibility, public safety, and aesthetics and surroundings. So we often work with the Public Works Department. In the past, we worked closely with Mike Chambliss, who's now at the county. We'll work with the planning department, with Tina over at Hollister Recreation. So we work with a number of different departments to gather input. And I should also mention that with the 7-member committee, with the different members coming from the city or the Arts Council, our resolution also states the kinds of expertise that these members ought to have. So we definitely value engineering and architectural expertise. David Huboy is currently on Park. We have the artistic and public art expertise. So we have Arturo Rossetti. He's used to be the chair of fine arts at Gavilan and teaches art and public art over at Gavilan College. So we have those, it's very important, I think, particularly with public art, that you have those different areas of expertise. Not necessarily, we love to have just sort of general art supporters, but it's really important when you're thinking about materials and those materials' exposure to sun and the slope of, Dunn Park and things like that. So I just included here for you links to our archived agendas, minutes, and then also to the Arts Council's public art webpage. Sorry about that. Okay, next slide. So I'll just take you through a little tour of some projects that we've worked on over the last 5 years. So the first on the left was the phase 1 of the utility box mural project. And I should state that this first phase was actually the kind of inspiration for creating the Public Art Review Committee. So this first phase of the utility box mural project was 5 boxes. I believe they're all along San Benito Street. And this started before Park existed. So with this project, Councilmember Resendez, before he was a council member, collaborated with the Arts Council, and we together went directly to City Council to ask for some funding to work on this project together. And once we did this project, we thought, wow, wouldn't it be great to have a more formal and organized process for this? So that's a project that we first did in 2015. Shortly thereafter, we did the Fremont Memorial Tunnel with Arturo Rossetti and Roy Darr. So there's Arturo, he's a member of the Public Art Review Committee. And this is on the 4th Street underpass that connects the new courthouse with the existing, or with the older county courthouse and county admin building. Okay, next slide. So the box on the left is from phase 2. So with phase 2 of the utility box project, the RFQ and all the artist submissions were run through the Public Art Review Committee. This was funded differently. This was not funded with city funds. Sorry, I'm gonna grab a drink of water really quickly. Just one sec. I've been having Zoom meetings all day, so I'm kind of talked out here. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think this was privately funded through some sponsorships, and the Arts Council, we went and got some funding, I believe, from the Community Foundation and 1 or 2 other sources. So we paid for this directly. We paid the artists for this second phase, which included an additional 5 boxes. Similarly, on the right, this was the Veterans the Veterans mural painted on the East Street side of the Veterans Memorial Building on that's right downtown. This was through a grant that we received, the Arts Council received through the California Arts Council. And the lead artist here was Philip Ray Orabuena. And this was done, I believe, in 2018. And again, even though we had identified an artist for this project because it was part of our proposal in our grant application to the California Arts Council, and when I say our, I mean the San Benito County Arts Council, we had already identified an artist, but the review for the design, the process, how it was going to be painted, what materials were going to be used, the size and the scope, was all processed through the Public Art Committee, which provided, feedback and input to the artists and some guidance. Okay. And was ultimately approved by City Hall. This was the next project that we did at Dunn Park. This was the art bench project where we the Arts Council, received another grant from the California Arts Council, which included some funding for public art at Dunn Park. We also did a number of programs at Dunn Park, including Dance at Dunn and some art in the park type activities. So here you can see some of our committee members. There's Mary Paxton and a couple committee members and some of the city staff surveying the site. We can go to the next slide. So here are 2 of the benches created by Colin Selig. He did the fault line bench and the wave bench. And I won't go into a ton of detail, but I'm happy to answer questions on any of these projects here. And we'll look at the next one. Next slide. This was Randy Koloski, the wave bench. It was poured from white concrete. And go to the next slide. And then we had the baseball benches. So this was all part of one project. The artist fees for this was $4,000 per bench. And all these artists mostly came from California. This lady here, Nancy Levendahl, actually resides in Colorado. And she drove these limestone benches over to our community. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Another project that we worked on was the city of Hollister said, we want to create something special at McCarthy Park for its reopening and brand it a little bit. So we did a emblem design RFQ or RFP, and we had a number of submissions with different ideas for an emblem that was to be installed on the water tower, which is part of their water play structure at McCarthy Park. And so all the submissions were reviewed by the park committee, and Roy Darr was the winning artist, and he received $1,000 stipend for his design. And then ultimately the city, I believe they paid for and, had the emblem itself cut on their own. So this was basically like a design stipend, a design project. Next slide. And I wanted just to add a couple slides here that even though, we get to look at all these great projects with the Public Art Review Committee, I wanted to throw in a few that did not go through the Public Art Review Committee because it wasn't, it didn't meet that criteria with city funds and being installed on city-owned property. These were done with the Hollister School District. This was a summer school mural program that we, the San Benito County Arts Council, did with the Hollister School District as part of our arts and education program. And I just wanted to point out how amazing it was. It was almost like a summer mural festival. We had 8 murals being painted simultaneously throughout the Hollister School District over the summer. We had 2 additional indoor murals that were painted, and we utilized all local artists, and it was just a really fabulous, fantastic, uplifting project. So there's an image here on the left from Calaveras AAA with artist Venencia Prudencio, and then another on the right at HDLA with artist Clay Peer. And these are all Arts Council teaching artists. They're all Arts Council staff. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Oh, and I was hoping Victoria would be here tonight, or I should say Commissioner Murray. This is a mural that she's working on. That was a part of an Arts Council, one of our projects from a grant that we received from the California Arts Council for an after-school mural program. And this will be installed very, very soon. I think it's near completion. It's a bright, beautiful mural that's painted on, I think, she would know, but probably 6 or 8 plywood panels, and it's going to be installed on the corner of 4th and San Benito on the Youth Alliance building there. And it's just, I wish you were here because she could say more about it. But again, we got the grant funds. We hired Victoria and her partner, David Gutierrez, to work on this mural. And it was student-led, student design, and painted over a series of Saturdays with students from the Youth Alliance and some of our own community art students that we work with at the Arts Council. So you should see that coming up very, very soon. But again, this did not go through the Public Art Committee because it was privately funded and it's being installed on a private building. But we always make these, we like to share them with the Public Art Review Committee so that committee is aware of what's happening and also gets to, enjoy and celebrate the artwork that's going up in our city. Okay, next slide. So this is just a budget summary, and I have to preface this by saying this presentation I gave to City Council in December of 2019, just a couple months before COVID. So it was actually quite easy to prep for this presentation here because I already had the slides. And at that time, it was just really an update of what the Public Art Review Committee had been up to. This is a budget summary, and you can see these different projects. In the middle column there is Arts Council funding, the other one's city funding. And there's a little asterisk here that these are direct funding costs, so it doesn't include overhead or administration and that kind of thing. And then there's a double asterisk here for the Activate Dunn Park project. There's a $30,000 city contribution, and that wasn't towards the artwork itself, but at that time, the bigger Activate Dunn Park project was to revitalize the park, not just with art, but also additional interactive features like the ping pong tables and the cornhole toss and those kinds of things. So that was the city's contribution. So you can see that although there's been a number of really, well, this is my personal opinion, but really fantastic projects that have enlivened our city, and in particular our downtown, they've mostly been privately funded. The city does not have a mechanism to fund public art. And so that's something that I think, your commission, the Arts and Culture Commission, can really support and get behind, that there's, a regular funding stream for these kinds of projects. So I think we've been able to do a lot with a little, and we're just really hopeful on the potential in the future to provide a more sustainable funding source for art. Okay, next slide. I won't go through all this. These were some recommendations that we made to City Council in 2019. And I'm just gonna, the big thing really at that time, and again, this was before COVID, this was before the Arts and Culture Commission, was we really felt at that juncture that a creative placemaking master plan or some kind of arts and culture master plan was really, really important to set and guide the strategic priorities for the city as they relate to arts and culture, to identify funding mechanisms, the administrative procedures, and so forth. So I know you're all working on that, which is great. And I just want to say that, the Public Art Committee is fully behind that. Next slide. Okay, and I'll just close with this quote here, that designing something changes the future that is possible. This is a quote from a professor at the design school at Stanford. He wrote this really great book on designing your life. And, I really believe that, public art isn't just something to look at, but it fundamentally changes how you move in that space, how you relate to it, how you relate to other people, your neighbors, and how you feel about your city. So I think if we can think about public art in that way, we can really, change things for the better. So I will close there, and I'm very happy to take any questions.
No
Thank you,
questions,
Jennifer.
but that was wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, great. And if I could just add one other thing, and Tina, maybe you can chime in too, is I know you'll be discussing your bylaws, and just a very tiny update from our last Public Art Review Committee. We kind of feel like our purpose is a bit on hold right now. And so we've decided, the committee voted to basically go on hiatus through the end of the year, because we're waiting to get direction from you all. So what does the future of public art look like in terms of administration? And, will we exist in a new form as a subcommittee of the Arts and Culture Commission? Do you want to all absorb the public art administration? So, that's really a conversation for you all to have. And again, I'm totally happy to answer those questions, and happy to put you in touch with other park members as well, if you have some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer. Shall I go on to our next item, Tina?
Yes, we can continue with old business.
Okay. So old business 2 would be the ACC bylaws.
This afternoon, because I thought I attached it, and I apologize, but I sent an updated draft copy of our bylaws. And I know Chair Chiara commented, so some of her information is in there. And Chair Ross, our Commissioner Ross added some goals and information, and then Commissioner Sanchez also added information. So I think what we need to focus on today is our vision and our mission, and then our goals.
I see that you already have some drafted already here.
Yes, there's the vision. There's the 3 different missions, and then what Commissioner Ross wrote under goals. There's a little bit of information. So it said that from our last meeting in August, just kind of put something together, looked at others, cities' mission, vision statements, and we said the Arts and Culture Commission of the City of Hollister recognizes the arts as a crucial and critical component to a thriving community. Through the development and support of arts and culture, the City of Hollister will demonstrate its values and alleviate its distinct identity. That's the vision we can foresee, or if we want to change anything around. I don't know if everyone is attached to the Google Doc that I sent out, but it gives us the ability to kind of make some changes, and you can see to the right, Chair Chiara would kind of comment and add some of her information too.
I like the vision statement. I think it's well written out. I don't know if any of the other chairs have any other edits they like to make or any changes in it.
I would like to just mention that I see here that we have in the vision that Hollister will demonstrate its values and elevate its distinct identity. I'm wondering, like, if I'm an outside person, like what that is. Like, should we state maybe examples of those values and what that distinct identity is?
I agree that to make it more clear for outsiders or people who are moving in, or I'm sure we're all kind of, newer residents, older residents, we all kind of have different ideas of what Hollister's distinct identity is. So, yeah, if you want to elaborate, I'm all for giving examples.
Rosalinda.
Go ahead, Chair Chiara.
I was just gonna say, it's so hard when we meet once a month because I'm trying to recollect, and so I try to keep really good notes. But I was thinking about, didn't we have a discussion about really kind of like outlining like something that is really more specific? Like, say we have something that maybe it feels general, but underneath it says, we value blank, or like value statements and things like that, to really kind of bring it home exactly what we're saying. I'm just concerned it might get long if we put it in the statement, but I do agree that it should be present.
And Chair Chiara, would that be in the body, I guess, of the bylaws? Or so you're thinking that it wouldn't be a part of the vision statement then?
I'm wondering, I was gonna pull up some of the other ones like that are a bit longer, like where do those statements lie? But I'm interested in thoughts around how to edit it to establish something that feels really authentic there.
Would it be like the examples that Commissioner Ross wrote in her goals? Maybe some of those, like the reshape definition, understanding of art, bring and celebrate culture, elevate, create, build community, generate revenue, create tourist destination. Along those kinds of lines, or?
I think so.
Are those values though?
That's why I was gonna be like, can we reword that, or?
Because that definitely looks like, I would include that in the vision, what she wrote as how, because that sounds like the how we're going to do it, by reshaping the definition, by, celebrating culture, by, these are the ways we're going to do it. But what are we achieving, I guess? Like, for instance, I'm going to say something that like comes to mind, like a value of, Hollister is like a familial like environment, like that, really the valuing family first, or the community first, or things like that's what I'm thinking. Like, these are the things we value, and this is how we're going to elevate it, and that's how those goals look like. How we would do it.
I agree with both of you. I think I was just looking here at the city of Gilroy, and it has the vision statement first. That's really, it's just one sentence even. So I'm like, can we condense it even further? Which it says that promotes a bold vision, which could be considered vague. And then it has the purpose, and then under it has those goals, which are very action oriented: to promote, to establish, to create, to help, to encourage, to educate. So it could look something like that. How does that feel?
I'm absolutely in agreement that it should be as short and sweet as possible.
I agree too.
Could we potentially say have maybe 3 minutes to sort of type up a sample, maybe sentence on that vision of, say, or a mission, I guess, to shorten it, and see if we can, maybe settle on something now, or do we have to wait until the other two commissioners are in the space with us to do that?
Is it a quorum right now, right? The four of us, so we can vote?
So there's 3 in attendance right now. So you could vote if you'd like to move forward.
Okay.
So should we take about 3 minutes to see if we can come up with 3 different sentences that we could potentially, specifically, I think we're talking about the vision statement, right? Cutting that down a little bit.
Right.
Is that good?
Did we
Jeopardy.
agree that we're so we'll have like a vision, a mission, and then a purpose, like 3 different, or how are we condensing that, or are we going to keep it the same? Because I think maybe 3 are totally, they sound the same, right? But maybe they're totally different things. Like vision is, I guess, what we hope to do, and then mission is how we get there, and then the purpose is how exactly we do it.
The purpose and the mission statement are pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
Because the vision is like, this is who we are, and this is what our long-term sort of vision is. Yeah, hence the vision, like we're looking into the future, this is what we envision for this committee.
Okay. Is there anything that we want to keep that's in the current vision statement? Anything that we like?
I kind of wonder if that part there that it says through development and support of the arts and culture, the city of Hollister will demonstrate its values, or maybe uplift its values, and maybe cement its distinct identity, something like that. Because I almost feel like that one sentence almost says everything that we achieve.
Right.
So just to clarify, the vision statement, through the development and support of arts and culture, the city of Hollister will, what was your word? Elevate?
Uplift its values.
Its values and
I was thinking almost cement its distinct identity, because I think there again, because it is a little vague in terms of what the distinct identity is, I believe that maybe the mission will flesh that out a little bit. In other words, and then once we figure that out, what that distinct identity is, then it means, this is what it is, and we want to cement it. And how are we going to do it? Through these goals that are that Commissioner, is it Rojas? Is Christina Rojas?
Ross.
Ross.
Commissioner Ross wrote down here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we condense that vision statement to that one sort of sentence, and there again, identify a couple of values that we think are very important, and then of course, say what that distinct identity is. For instance, like one of the things that comes to mind is, one thing that I know when I moved here, everybody is very, very proud of Hollister's agricultural background. Like what comes to mind is like when I've gone to Watsonville and I see these beautiful strawberries in every way, shape, and form all over Watsonville. And I just think to myself, like, they're also an agricultural community, rural community. How is it, I'm feeling that is also what Hollister really takes pride in as the roots. But I also see, all of these really cool, say, little pubs coming up, and I see, all of this, public art, and I see, a lot of really, interesting entrepreneurial, people who are opening up little, small businesses. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like that's becoming Hollister's identity, is this really interesting movement of growth, but while wanting to preserve, that pride of building this community on agriculture.
Yeah, I totally agree. You still get that really strong sense of agriculture, the original families that were here, what made Hollister, but then you are seeing like the trendy coffee shops and the small town, like almost feels like North Bay kind of feel, right? Like that wine country, but still not like the city, right? Like they still want to keep, that sense of small town. I agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I'd exactly word it, but
I'm still wondering if, because like exactly like what you're saying, Rosalinda, like this kind of like the beauty of like that evolution of like retaining the past but moving toward the future, like how could we utilize the language in a way that allows for that growth mm-hmm. and that potential of change? Mm-hmm. And could we place that very important information in the goals to like retain, or like, I guess I'm kind of thinking about like keeping the historical context of our history as a part of our art and culture vision. I'm not real sure, but I don't know if I'd put that in the vision, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So maybe that's part of the mission you're thinking?
I feel like it's a goal, is to like to root or to remember where we've come from, but to be open to the opportunities and potentials of our growth and our community, or something around that, where could we hold both of those things simultaneously?
Mm-hmm.
I think that could definitely put in the mission statement. I think keeping, wording it in a way of wanting to use this commission to bring new life, but also preserve, what we have now,
Yeah, I think that like you're saying, it's in the mission statement, right? Like if I could say it like in a sentence, the mission of the commission is to, preserve, and I'm just throwing something out there, preserve Hollister's agricultural roots while, creating let's say creating a a space to where, small business growth is, welcome. I don't know, something like this, to where we're saying those two things, because the truth is, I think in the end, that's what we're wanting to do, is honor the values of Hollister, which means, hey, I want to keep my town, I want to preserve its beauty, but at the same time, we also want to create opportunity. And maybe that's, we're trying to say those two things in the mission. That's what we're really attempting to do, is make space for, public art, for, collaborative artistic opportunities and things like that. So in doing all that, we're creating, also economic opportunity and opportunity in general. So maybe also the commission is also doing that, right? Creating opportunities for the city to grow, but to grow while preserving the traditional sort of roots of the city. So I think maybe it's the statement we're making in the mission. I think, though, what I am feeling a little bit is too much is that we have this vision, a mission, and we have goals. Like, it just seems like a lot just to explain really the couple of things that I think we've been talking about, and that is honoring the past while, forging, a future.
So, could we maybe possibly mash mission and goals together? So it's like one paragraph below our vision statement. So vision is just one, 3-sentence, this is what we want, preserving Hollister's, historic past, but also, what we want to do. And then in the mission statement, maybe how we're going to do that in the goals.
I like that.
Yeah, that way it's, a few lines of one thing, and then maybe like a small paragraph of how we hope to achieve that. I'm a little lost at the vision statement, I will be honest, though. I'm not exactly sure what we all want to agree on to put. What I see here is good, but it is a little wordy. I agree. Maybe something shorter.
Chair Chiato, do you have any ideas on?
Yeah, I was just kind of listening, and Rosalinda, while you were talking, I was kind of populating a little bit of the, the green version with like that kind of duality of what we want for our mission. I guess what I'm thinking is like for the vision, like what I kind of get fixated, I guess, on a single word. Like for the city of Gilroy, they say, promoting, like the committee promotes the vision of shaping the visual, environment of the community. Do we want to say promote? Do we want support, develop? Because I think we will develop specific things, but we also want to like cultivate, right, other like people that are wanting to bring art into the community, or so it's kind of both, right, our role.
So maybe we're focusing on verbs, kind of, action, action-oriented statement.
I feel that really clarifies what we're doing, but I'm open to ideas.
Could we maybe like say promoting and inspiring? Because maybe we want to inspire locals to, want to come out and be a part of this commission. I mean, we've talked about, we don't solely want to make all these decisions. We want to get community involvement. And the way you get the community involved is by inspiring them to want to get involved. That's just what I'm thinking.
I believe also developing opportunities is something that we'll be doing quite a bit of. And yes, engagement. Yep. collaborating. I think just even Jennifer being here today, I think that was a really good presentation that showed what collaboration can achieve. And I believe absolutely that once this gets going, that there will be a lot of collaborative efforts and opportunities available.
Yeah, I agree. I'm wondering if sometimes this works for me in my creative work is maybe working a little bit backwards, like maybe going to the goals and seeing how that can tighten up that mission and vision a little bit. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. So let's see. I mean, would those goals fit into this mission here? I'm almost feeling like that, like those goals are how we do it. Like, okay, so let's say we back up. Our mission, right? My mission is, let's say in my case, right? What I normally do in the work that I do, my mission is to make, arts education accessible, to all communities. Like that's one mission, right? And I think maybe that's probably where I feel that we're not necessarily converging on just one mission. Like, is our mission to create opportunities for, our economic development through the arts? Is our mission, it's almost like that one mission has to be that one thing that we're going towards. Because I think we have a couple of things going on in the mission, and I think that's why it feels a little discombobulated.
If I can interrupt, I know our GPAC is working on the general plan, and it mentions the characteristics and the values that we want to see as a city. It talks about our small town feel, which we're surrounded by rich land. I just received a text from it, and it talks about the vision and values. Our values are equity, diversity, innovation, and sustainability. Mm-hmm. There's a vision in here. This is just a draft copy from GPAC, but it has kind of some of the same ideas that we're discussing right now. So I'm wondering if I send this to you, like I mentioned, it's a draft copy, but if I send it and then we can review it through Google Docs and continue to work on these bylaws. Yes.
I like that a lot. What utilizing the art, maybe like utilizing arts and culture to promote the like equity. What were the other three, Tina?
Equity, diversity, innovation, and sustainability.
Yeah, I like all of that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, but I'm also thinking too, adding economic prosperity.
Okay.
Would that fall under sustainability, Rosalinda?
Well, I think sustainability is definitely part of how we keep the programs going, because I'll tell you this much, my experience with getting funds, especially during COVID, to do programs, we in other work that I do, we had the funds, we even had the teaching artists, but we had no kids to sign up, so we couldn't sustain it. So I think that sustainability and economy can go together, but I think they can also be very different.
I like figuring out a way to bring those two together because I think that will benefit us later, how we're supporting and speaking to the general plan. And the language. What did you say? Economic prosperity.
Yeah, either economic prosperity or economic
Opportunity.
yeah, or economic equity. That's also a really big thing right now. Well, not just right now, forever. It should be a regular thing.
I kind of like this another version of the mission statement. If maybe we could just edit it a bit, because it kind of talks about the Arts and Culture Commission of the City of Hollister is dedicated to advancing the arts in all sectors to benefit the economic, health, and well-being of all individuals. I do like the economic part. Maybe switch out the health and well-being of all individuals, even though that is what it does. Maybe using different verbiage. Maybe. We promote and cultivate creativity, imagination, and innovation to foster community engagement, where we were talking about involving the community. Through our commitment to securing sustainable funding for arts and culture in Hollister, we do want to put that in there, I believe. We will continue to preserve our diverse cultural expressions. That could also be changed a little bit, I think. Because I do like the goals that Chair Ross said. I truly believe all those goals need to be put somewhere. That way people can truly understand what this commission is about.
Mm-hmm.
So is another version, is that another mission statement version then?
I'm assuming so.
Yes, that was presented by Chair Chiato.
Okay.
And then I added on what you were talking about, Rosalinda, at the bottom to try to encompass those, continuing to preserve our diverse cultural and historical expressions while inviting opportunities through the arts.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I actually like that version. I mean, it's what is it? It's really only like 3 or 4 sentences, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just was really advocating for like the all sectors piece. Like
Right.
we really, really want it to be a part of everything for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And we really want to focus on that funding piece, and that
Yeah.
it doesn't become too fluffy that, we do want to inspire and we do want to motivate, but there has to be some dollar bills attached to those things. So,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
yes.
I like it. Yeah, I agree.
and I just wanted to put it out to the commission that if we feel more comfortable, and I know this is probably later, but waiting for the other members who are not here, maybe they'd be able to chime in between our next meeting. I don't know, or Tina, I don't know how. I know you said government moves slow, so I don't know how people feel about that.
How far can we get with this commission if we don't have this completed mission
This is our
statement,
first,
then?
we need bylaws in order to move forward.
Okay.
And as long as we show that we continue to work on them, then,
Okay.
there's other things that we would like to do the designing of the flag, but we're not able to without guidelines for that.
Right.
So there's,
Right.
so, like I said, I did set up a Google Doc, and do you all have access to that? Do you see that? Yeah. I know last month we set a goal to have this kind of completed by this month. And I'll send another email out and provide this information that I just received, our values that's in a draft copy. But I just think it's important that we all provide some feedback so that we complete these bylaws so that we can start focusing on bringing some other types of events or sculptures and art to our community.
Is there anything that we think works right now? Does anyone see anything? That way we can at least maybe, if we can't finish our vision, do we at least agree on the mission statement?
I like the second version of it. I think I would actually, if you ask me now, I would go with that.
Okay.
I agree.
It covers everything that we've been talking about.
Is there anything that we think to just edit a little bit, or do we like it as it is?
Advancing the arts in all sectors to benefit the economic health. Well, should we read it out loud to just see if resonates and it doesn't need any editing?
Yes.
Is it okay if I read it out loud?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
The Arts and Culture Commission of the City of Hollister is dedicated to advancing the arts in all sectors to benefit the economic, health, and well-being of all individuals. We promote and cultivate creativity, imagination, and innovation to foster community engagement. Through our commitment to securing sustainable funding for the arts and culture in Hollister, we will continue to preserve our diverse cultural and historical expressions while inviting opportunities through the arts. I like it.
I don't know if we want to add, is dedicated to advancing arts and culture in all sectors, in that first sentence there. And then I don't know if you like the word inviting. Is it too vague?
I do like adding arts and culture, but I kind of wonder if having Arts and Culture Commission up there
Too many times.
that feels a little repetitive, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. The arts in all sectors, to benefit. And I'm sorry, what was the second thing you said, Commissioner Chiaro?
The final sentence using inviting opportunities through the arts, or like pursuing, maybe, because we do want to pursue. Like I don't know what word do you like there for what is our action?
I personally believe that we are creating those opportunities. We are cultivating those opportunities, because I believe the commission will be that central focal point where things will be born and projects will flourish from there. I believe will spawn from there.
We have cultivate in the first sentence.
Arts are gonna promote, cultivate. Got it. Is there a synonym for cultivate? Create opportunities, and
We don't have develop.
is good. Produce, generate, design.
Well, I feel like we're trying to do something twofold there, right? It's like you want to generate opportunities, but you're also saying like we're open to like a changing like cultural climate or something too, right? So, when we say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What would be a word for like creating the space for others to even generate opportunities? Like in collaboration, for instance, we may be that focal point, but there again, I'm going to go back to Jennifer being here. Just hearing her makes you also think about the challenges that they've had, what other opportunities can come of that. So like where we have kind of this, mind share or space where we can, help create opportunities. And it's not just us, it's us along with the community.
So like
I don't know.
creating like a space, but how do you word that? You're right.
Yeah, like almost like an incubator, right? Of opportunities, right? I don't know, something like that, where people sort of come together and create that together.
I'm sure there's a word out there somewhere.
Let's see.
Let's pursue it. I think if we find that, we might be in a good spot.
Let's see. I mean, breed, produce. I mean, even incubate. Incubate opportunities, incubate.
Let's see.
Develop.
Strengthening collaborative opportunities through the arts. Let's see.
Like space to evolve, or like I'm not good with words.
Or how about we say while collaborating with the community, or while collaborating along with the community to create opportunities
Yeah,
through the arts.
that's really what it would be.
While collaboratively developing opportunities through the arts.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. That sounds good.
That's,
That's
you know, what I love about that, it's respectful. Like it's,
Developing opportunities.
you know, it has a real, I don't know, for me, it just feels very equitable. I like that.
So maybe read it again so we could hear how it flows.
Okay. The Arts and Culture Commission of the City of Hollister is dedicated to advancing the arts in all sectors to benefit the economic health and well-being of all individuals. We promote and cultivate creativity, imagination, and innovation to foster community engagement. Through our commitment to securing sustainable funding for arts and culture in Hollister, we will continue to preserve our diverse cultural and historical expressions while collaboratively developing opportunities through the arts.
Oh yeah.
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like we got a lot of work to do.
We gotta make good on this vision.
That good work right there.
Can we vote on this?
And so we agree that that is our mission statement, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, yeah, how do we carry a motion that that's what we want?
We can vote on it now. I just need the exact language. I think, Commissioner Sanchez, you have it? Or is it in the doc?
I've been updating it in the document.
Oh, Chiara, I'm sorry. Chair
okay.
Chiara, you have it. Or I can print it out for next month and it'd be in a draft. And if it's finalized, then we vote on it next month to finalize our bylaws.
Would it make sense to just agree on that now? That way we have that out of the way. Because I know we still have a vision statement that we have to kind of come up with. For something that's only like a few sentences, it seems to be the hardest thing to. I would agree, but if you guys would like to have a draft printed out first, maybe, I don't know what the other chairs think. Or the other commissioners.
Can I ask what the commission would like to have in there? Would you guys like the vision and mission statement and goals and remove purpose? Or what are some of your ideas on what do you like to keep in these bylaws?
Could we have just a mission?
I absolutely believe that the purpose and the mission are the same thing.
Right.
And if we have two separate things that say two separate purposes, then it gets more confusing. So I personally believe we should have a vision and a mission. And I almost feel now that we have such a healthy and hearty mission. I mean, it's a little bit, I think we talked about the vision enough to be able to come up with that mission, which is really the order in which you normally go to get to the mission. So I think we did that. So for me, the purpose is really just more words.
Right.
I
Okay.
agree. I would recommend a vision statement, a mission statement that feels complete to us now. Maybe we can tighten up a vision statement to tonight. I don't know how we want to proceed. And then I really do like goals, and I do like when it's, you know, two blank, because it really frames our work in a really actionable fashion that we can kind of go back to those goals each time we're bringing something to the table.
I agree.
I do have a question though. Over time, if, for instance, like the goals being, say, almost like a checklist, if we arrive at a point where we feel really satisfied with these sorts of goals, does that mean that we can be flexible to update those goals? Like, let's say next year, if we've, you know, achieved a lot of those goals?
What I could do is remove the goals from the bylaws and maybe create a strategic plan. And this way, once these bylaws are set, and it's approved by the commission, it'll go to the council and they'll approve it. And if we make any changes to our bylaws, it needs to be approved by council again. So we have to resend these bylaws, and then council approves what we removed or added. So maybe we remove the goals from our bylaws and put it in some sort of a strategic plan.
I like that. I
I
think
would
that
too.
makes a lot of sense.
And then you can have that evolution, right, when you're meeting those strategic planning goals, and then you can update those as you go and you meet them.
Yes.
Exactly.
I like that. And that allows a lot more space versus having to go back and like adjust the bylaws, right, for all like the logistical issues.
Yes. Okay, so I have the vision statement. The last we talked about, it said, through the development and support of arts and culture, the city of Hollister will uplift its values and cement its distinct identity. Then we'll have a mission statement. I think, Chair Chiara, you have that information. And then from there, we will remove purpose and then put our goals into our strategic plan. And the
Yeah.
rest are the responsibilities of the commission, what the commission consists of, attendance policy, committee members. On Article 2, we talked about the committee shall be composed of 5 voting members and 2 non-voting members. The voting members represent the San Benito County Arts Council, serving in an advisory capacity, and then a youth member.
So is that what the park, their presentation was?
Our PRC board commission, Parks and Recreation Commission, they do not have any representatives. They just have the commission, the 5 voting members.
Okay.
But I felt like with San Benito County Arts Council and their park committee, they kind of have established the foundation for arts in Hollister, and I think they have a lot of value and input
Right.
and
Right.
history. So that's why we would have a member but they would be non-voting. They would just provide feedback.
Okay. I like that.
And other than that, it's, everything else in here is very similar to all of our other commissions. The wording. So I guess our next step is the vision statement.
Right. And so after we create these bylaws, then it gets sent to our city council for them to view it and agree on it.
The commission would vote on it first, and then from there, I would present it to our city council.
Okay. Is there anything that we'd like to change or add to the vision statement?
So I see Commissioner Chiaro is creating an additional version of what we already have. It's kind of a modified version. So I am totally good with that. I like the idea of maybe shrinking that down to one sentence or two. And then just what I'm suggesting in our document is that since it's a vision, which means, you know, sort of what do we see for the future of the commission in terms of what the future intentions are, what our long-term intentions are, that just our verbiage should portray that is what we're intending. In other words, the Arts and Cultures Commission of the City of Hollister, you know, for instance, she has here envisions arts and culture, or will, you know, will promote, will foster, will engage, will, you know, things that we plan on doing in the future.
I have another question about the bylaws beyond the mission and vision, if I might chime in. Based on the role that the Public Art Review Committee played, and Jennifer stating that they're kind of on hiatus because they're waiting on direction from the ACC, would their role be identified in those bylaws? Like, you know, the Public Art Review Committee will serve as an ad hoc committee to the ACC, you know, when necessary, or something like this? Is that something that would need to be included there? Is that a discussion for another document or another time?
I would like to include it in our bylaws so that it's clear. As for maybe the guideline, I think they have, what did they call it? I have the resolution right here. They called it the public art policy. So they have a policy, or, you know, we can create guidelines, but in the bylaws, we should state what the purpose of park would be. So we should, probably need to add that too.
Like an advisory capacity to ACC on public art. Like, and then do you need to use that language around public art that's city funded and on city land, or how those two qualifiers that she included in her PowerPoint?
Yes, we should. In the beginning, when we first met, I did send the public art policy to everyone, but I can resend it. And so it has a lot of that information that she talked about from her presentation in the policy. I also did research from other surrounding cities, and they're all similar. Their wording, like I said, it's just different. So I can send the parks public art policy along with other cities that I found their public art guidelines, as what they kind of call it. But I would just add in our bylaws that park is the advisory capacity to ACC on public art, or find wording for that.
Yeah.
And then yes, and then work on our public art policy.
Does that negate the resolution of the city council adopting the public art policy with, and does it like supersede that?
Yes.
Okay.
So on my part, I would have to resend resolution 2016-59, and then provide them with an updated public art policy.
Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so shall we try to take another stab at the vision? Did you add some more here, Linda?
Yeah, so I wonder if, does this kind of work? And it could be just that. I think that really exemplifies everybody's vision.
I don't see it in front of me. Can someone read it out loud or?
So what I did was, so the second version that Amanda or Commissioner, or sorry, Chair Chiato wrote out was the Arts and Culture, which I'd like to, the Arts and Culture Commission of the City of Hollister envisions arts and culture as a critical component of values of equity, diversity, and sustainability, and then followed by our goals are to reshape definition and understanding of art, bring and celebrate culture, elevate, create, build community, generate revenue, create a tourist destination, and cultivate safe space for all to feel welcome and represented. I really like that. I think that really, it's a nice short sentence. It's very clear, and it includes our goals, which are the intentions and the vision, the long-term vision, and then followed by the mission.
I like that. Will we not need to put the goals in the strategic plan then?
Yes, we did talk about that, right? Mm-hmm. Well, because the vision then would be, yeah, because you're right. Those goals are actually more action items. Or I'm noticing that she put reshape definition and understanding of art, which could definitely be a long-term vision. And then I see she followed it up by action. So each one of those has a bullet point that says an action next to it. Would it be those actions that would be put into the strategic plan to support?
I guess so, huh?
The long-term goals?
How we would do that, right? The action of how we would reshape the definition, how we would bring and celebrate culture would be in the strategic plan, is what you're saying?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, because it's the what and the how, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because that reshaping the definition and understanding of art, or even if we revise that, can take on different action items as your strategic plan moves through its cycles.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would we need to, I guess, help create that strategic plan and figuring out how we would exactly do that?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Is that something that I don't think we would be able to do that now, would we?
No.
I wouldn't recommend doing it today.
Right.
We'd focus on the bylaws, have this pass,
Okay.
the public art policy, and then once we put all that together, then we're going to see what our plan is from there.
Could we get the vision statement just read one more time, just quickly, just so we all are on the same page?
We were wordsmithing over here a little bit.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so you want to read that version, Rosalinda?
Sure. Of the vision, right? Again?
Yeah.
The Arts and Culture Commission of the City of Hollister envisions arts and culture as a critical component to exemplify its values of equity, diversity, and sustainability. Our goals are to reshape definition and understanding of art, bring and celebrate culture, elevate, create, build community, generate revenue, create a tourist destination, cultivate a safe space for all to feel welcome and represented.
I do like that. Now it's starting to kind of sound like a mission statement, though. A little bit. I do like all those in there because that's truly what we're. But I guess it does make sense, right? The vision is what we want, and then the strategic plan would be how we would develop that, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Tina, may I ask, is there any, like, in your work, is there any more benefit to one than the other? Like, because you kind of brought up the idea of like having to go back and like reestablish the bylaws. Is there a benefit to not having all of these goals and actions in here, or is there a benefit? Can you maybe speak to that?
So the bylaws, the benefit is that we have it out here, but I wouldn't recommend that we put some of these action items in our bylaws, just because they could change without time. So if we achieved our goals, then you kind of mark it off, and that's the purpose of this strategic plan. But if anything changes, then in our bylaws, then it has to go in front of our commission, and then from there it goes in front of our council, and they have the final approval on our bylaws. So it takes a few steps to get there, but I think if we put some of our ideas and the what, the hows, and whys into the strategic plan, it would benefit us, and we can get a lot more done in a quicker amount of time.
What was the first sentence, or what was that very first sentence? I feel like that probably would have worked as a vision statement all on its own.
That was the vision statement, and then the longer piece on the bottom was the goals. So the vision was just that. It was just one sentence.
Yeah, I liked that. Can we get it read just one more time? Sorry, I keep asking you to read it, but
Okay. The Arts and Culture Commission.
Yes, just the vision.
Okay, the Arts and Culture Commission of the City of Hollister envisions arts and culture as a critical component to exemplify or demonstrate. Did we use a different word? Oh, exemplify, there you go. Okay, critical component to exemplify its values of equity, diversity, and sustainability.
That sounds good to me. Is there anybody, does anyone else agree? I agree that vision statement is perfect just as it is.
Well, it doesn't make any mention though to our intention to generate revenue, because I'm looking at, so these goals that we have, if we really think about it, let's say, the question is, will we always bring and celebrate culture? Will we always elevate, create, and build community? Like, are these things that we can do that will withstand time? In other words, I think that the checklist is the action item. So for instance, how do we, one of the goals is generate revenue. How would we will always generate revenue. Like, that's something we're never gonna stop doing, right? Creating a tourist destination. I think, like, for instance, that creating a tourist destination, might we get to that point where one day they'll say Hollister is a tourist destination? I think that might be one that could evolve, we could say, yeah, we reached that. We're actually officially a tourist destination now. But the generating revenue, I think that will always happen. I think we'll always want to elevate and build community. I think we'll always want to celebrate culture. And I think we'll always want to cultivate a safe space for all to feel welcome and represented. I don't think any of those things will ever change, which is why I see those as visions.
Right.
But like, for instance, I think the only one here that I would say, and I don't know about the reshape the definition of the understanding of art. I think that came about when we talked about, are the culinary arts included in this? Things that you don't when you think art, you're not necessarily going to, food first, right?
Right. And that
So-
could always change.
Yeah, so I think that one and maybe creating a tourist destination are the only things that we won't always be doing.
Right.
But I think the other ones bring and celebrate culture, elevating and building community, generating revenue, and cultivating a safe space for all to feel welcome and represented. I think those are absolutely long-term visions that we can always be doing that I don't think will ever be checked off our list.
So taking those two out, does it flow a little differently if you took out those two goals?
Let's see. I'm gonna take that out and take this one out. I'm gonna take out these action items because the actions associated with those, I think, is what we're saying should be in the strategic plan. Let's see. Oops.
If you want to use editing mode or suggestion mode instead of deleting, then I'm just thinking of that Christina wrote those in and she's not
Yeah.
here.
They're down.
I also would just echo that, for the city of Gilroy, under their goals, they're a little bit longer. They're a little bit more teased out, and so I think some of these, like, bring and celebrate culture. First of all, I don't like the word bring, but that's just yeah. Like what how but there might be a way to tease it out a little bit more.
Or how about if we just change that to celebrate culture? Be real succinct. Cultural diversity, maybe. Yeah, so just so you know too, I just copied those and added them, so they're down here still.
Oh, cool, thanks. Sorry, my screen is small. I was just like, oh no, I felt bad.
Yeah, I just copied them. So yeah, like, I don't know, let's say cultural. Here, let me try to read this again. See if it feels better. So the Arts and Culture Commission of the City of Hollister envision arts and culture as a critical component to exemplify its values of equity, diversity, and sustainability. Our goals are to celebrate cultural diversity, elevate, create, build community, generate revenue, and cultivate a safe space for all to feel welcome and represented.
I like that. Now that I'm hearing it, I agree. It's those goals we know for sure we'll probably be able to always keep, as opposed to the other ones that we may or may not promise, right? All the time.
Yeah, like we may reach those goals and check them off and move on to the next thing.
What does everyone think about that vision statement?
I like it. I think it just needed a little bit of editing, which it looks like Commissioner Chiato's doing right now. But I think I personally think it's succinct and to the point. I like that.
Okay.
I also just wanted to add that, like, I was thinking about what you said, Rosalinda, about like the sustainability piece, and I was just like, how could that word envelop more by trying to be succinct. And when I was, Googling sustainability, and it says there's the 4 pillars: social, human, economic, and environmental. So I think those do fit like with the general plan too. So, and maybe that's something that we could add like to the strategic plan, was like kind of like those sustainability pillars.
Did you want to add the statement of sustainability as a goal, for instance, like creating a sustainable?
I would say no, because it's in the vision. So I feel like that's enough for me.
Okay. Oh, right. It's the last word. You're right. Okay. Mhm. Yeah.
Tina, how do you feel?
I'm more of a vision person, so I need to see it in front of me, and I don't have the Google Docs in front of me right now, but I can review it and look at it. But I think that if everyone is in agreement, then that we've reached our goal as a commission.
Yep, I agree.
Great. So the next steps for this are to bring the draft back to the October meeting for like a final kind of review and potential approval. Is that the next steps, Tina?
Yes, those would be the next steps.
Okay. All right. Is there any more conversation we want to have around the mission, vision, or goals, or are we prepared to move on to the next agenda item?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Great job, everybody.
Yeah.
Gotta love some impassioned, conversations,
And some editing.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I love that part. Okay, let me pull up the agenda again now that moving on to it'd be old business 3, designing of the City of Hollister flag. I don't know if we'd like to have discussion about postponing that discussion to focus on the bylaws and get those approved and then be able to move forward with some decisions around that.
I almost kind of feel like anything we're going to do is going to have to wait.
Right.
And I also feel that what we're doing now is probably going to change when we get the additional bodies in the room. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if we can move forth on or move away from things that are going to really require everybody's input.
I agree.
Yeah, it seems until we get the ACC bylaws figured out and approved, we can keep talking about designing a flag or the social media page, but that's all it will be, is just talk until we can. How would that work? Would we be able to kind of postpone these old?
Absolutely. I was just going to comment and let the commission know that I do have some guidelines that I found through other cities, our surrounding cities, that I can email to you. But if the goal of the commission is to work on finalizing the bylaws, then I'll hold off on it unless you're asking me to still send it. But we can. What's the word I'm looking for, Paul? We can not hold off on this. We are not postponing. I'm sorry.
Is it postpone or it's a more formal agenda?
I think it's a more formal agenda word that we're both not, but it's similar to a postpone.
A re-agendize?
There you go. Yes, we'll use
like I'm on
re-agendize.
Jeopardy.
Thank you.
So do we have to make a motion to re-agendize items 3 and 4 in old business?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion to re-agendize items 3 and 4 under old business?
Yes, I have a motion. Do I second the motion or am I first motion?
Commissioner Sanchez, you're the first motion. We need a second.
Okay.
I second that motion to re-agendize whatever.
Vice Chair Rojas seconded.
And then we do a roll call.
Yes. Roll call vote. Commissioner Sanchez.
Here. Yes.
Vice Chair Rojas.
Yes.
Chair Chiato.
Yes.
And the records will show that Commissioner Murray and Commissioner Ross were not in attendance.
Moving on to new business, item 1 was, we made a motion to move that to number 1 under old business. And so that presentation's complete. Item number 2 under new business is upcoming art and culture events. Tina?
Yes, I just wanted to put this on here. We have some upcoming events that we will be celebrating this Thursday, September 16th, at the Vets Memorial Building Courtyard. We will celebrate Mexican Independence Day with a few different mariachi bands, dancers. We have actually 4 different groups that will be in attendance. And then we have vendors. La Cantrina will be there, and a couple of other vendors that will be out, beer and wine sales. So we're inviting our commission to attend. It's in the downtown area. Our gates open at 5:30. We have little family fun games out there, and then the concerts will start at 6 and go from 6 to 8 p.m. The following week, we go back to McCarthy Park, concerts in the park, and we have another band out there. Same idea, we'll have vendors, food and drinks, and that is September 23rd from 6 to 8 is the band, and then gates open at 5:30. And then our very last series of Concert in the Park is September 30th. Again, a band with food vendors and wine and beer sales. And then the city will celebrate a family fun night, September 25th. In the morning, it is the 35th annual street festival that'll be downtown from 10 to 4. And then we come in and transition to our after party from 6 to 9. We will have mini golf. We will have football, basketball hoops, and like a motocross machine out there where everyone can compete. And then from 8 to 10 will be a DJ. So lots of fun activities in the downtown area, bands that's happening. October, we're pretty busy. We will celebrate Halloween on Sunday, October 31st for our 4th annual Treat Street event. And that will be 11 to 1. So we're trying to stay busy at Recreation. And I know our community appreciates all the fun activities we've been having lately.
Yes, they're wonderful. Thank you for everyone putting them together, and I do appreciate the emails to be informed and to let other people know. So okay. I appreciate those.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. We're going to move on to commissioner comments. Do any of the commissioners have anything to share?
I don't have anything right now.
Okay.
I think we're pretty much in agreement that as soon as we get our bylaws approved, we could have more traction to discuss other ventures, but no, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Chair Rojas. I just wanted to mention, Tina reminded me that Open Studios Art Tour is September 25th and 26th. There's maps on the Arts Council website, or you can pop into the office and grab one, but it's usually a really good time. And that's it for me.
Chair Chiato, what was that called? Open Studio Art?
Open Studios Art Tour. So local artists in Hollister, San Benito County, and Aroma San Juan, they open up their studios, and they will have like workshops of them doing like some of their, maybe they're going to present how they do their pottery, and then they'll have artwork for sale. And so you can kind of drive around and pop into local artist studios and have a chance to talk with them and purchase their artwork and things like that. So
thank you.
Is that on your guys' social media page?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, setting of our next regular meeting, which will take place October 12th, 2021 at 6.
Chair Chiara, before we
Yes.
adjourn, I'd just like to
Please.
comment.
Please.
This morning I received some information. I know at our last commissioners meeting, Vice Mayor Resendiz asked us to kind of give us a project to work on for sustainable art in our community. Our planning director is working with Wilden Financial Funding to possibly see how we can sustain art and culture, recreation, parks, and a couple of other departments, police and fire. But I just wanted to give you guys an update since I received that information this morning.
That's good news.
Great. That's
Thank
wonderful
you.
news. Thank you. Is there any other final comments before we adjourn?
Not on my part.
Okay. Chair Rojas?
No.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:53?
I raise that motion.
I second it.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Vice Chair Rojas,
Yes.
and Chair Chiaro.
Yes.
And the records will show that Commissioner Murray and Commissioner Ross were not in attendance.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great
See you.
meeting you all.
Great being with you. See you soon. Have a great week ahead.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The ghost says bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, everyone.